Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Matchday Ticket Live with me, Martin. This is your pre-game show. Sorry for the extended introduction there. We are having teething problems, and I will be sorting that out while we speak. So, Facebook will be joining us very shortly. I will bring in our guests in just a second, but you may have seen last night we had a little bit of, we had a show for Luke Chambers, just to recognise the fact that he's reached such a big milestone, a milestone that doesn't normally in modern football get achieved. But sadly, I missed a few things out. So this is the tidy up. I'm not perfect. I know, shock horror. But here we are. We've got a lovely message from Ipswich Town FC women's team's Natasha Thomas on Mr. Luke Chambers.
344 league appearances. What an amazing achievement that is. Not only that, 10th in Town's all-time league appearances. I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot more as well. Well done.
Thank you very much. And I have a message from Victoria, which I didn't read out last night. It says, my favourite moment meeting Luke Chambers was when I went past all the other players who were waiting to get on the coach from the hotel in Lincoln last year. I asked Enciala where he was, and he just did an eye roll, pointed, and said he would come out of the hotel soon. She then ran over and gave him a big wet kiss in front of her husband. Cruncher, Luke, welcome in. There you go, Victoria. I've done it. Dusted.
He didn't deserve a big wet kiss after last season's performance.
No. How are we after having our previous messages dug up? I suppose you're used to it by now, aren't you?
Yeah, well, they're just Muppets, aren't they?
Oh, no one's a Muppet. They're just a bit bored. But talking about
must be very bored.
Well, to go through your messages, they absolutely must be. Yeah. So we're done. Right, let's do it. Let's have some team news. Let's get this show on the road. Facebook are joining us as we speak, and let's have some team news. Today's Ipswich Town team news is brought to you in association with Best Burger Stowmarket. Consistently high quality burgers at great prices as quickly as possible. Grab the best burger at the back of the Queen's Head Stowmarket. Call Stowmarket 01449 680 058 to book a table. Tell you, just like football players, when software works, it's brilliant, guys. So, Mr. Paul Lambert makes 4 changes to his lineup. I called it midweek. I said there'd be 4 changes, and there was. Stephen Ward comes in for Miles Kenlock. Nolan comes in for Emir Hughes. Bit harsh. Lancaster, yes, Jack Lancaster, lads. He's on.
Nolan was playing the other night. It's Bishop who's coming for Hughes.
Did he start?
Well, apparently. I didn't see him, but he was on.
Do you like how I set that up?
Yeah, I know. You'll be eating that crow. You'll be eating the crow.
Oh, no, I won't. Right. So let's start with Stephen Ward in for Miles Kenlock, because I obviously listened to Paul Lambert's conference yesterday, guys, and he said about, let me down again and there'll be repercussions. I felt this is a bit harsh, is it not?
Kenlock wasn't one of the worst the other night, was he?
No. That's what I mean. The 2 centre-halves, they were calamitous.
But we all know Miles, he's just keeping it warm and for Ward when he's fit. And I thought the other night, especially away from home, Martin, I think you really need his leadership. Because other than Chambers, in that lineup, who's a leader?
Well, that is it, yeah. And that is really what he's brought to the football club, isn't it, Luke? He's brought that leadership. He's brought that steady Eddie, that a quality that we didn't perhaps in the summer when we were bringing him in recognise he was going to be bringing to the squad.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think for so many years, Chambers had like a burden on being the only person. As you were saying this on shows yesterday, whenever the players join the club, he's the first person to be there. I think it's nice to have someone like Stephen Ward who can take that burden off him, because at the end of the day, if that's the thing that's constantly playing on your mind, your performances are going to dip. So it's good to have someone like Stephen Ward that can come in. And also, like the other night as well, when Enciala was making a couple of mistakes, having experienced head, someone like Ward in the left back position could have been another voice that would have helped out. I did feel the other night, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a bad thing on Kenlock's part, but I did notice, especially in the first half, Edward spent a lot of time covering positions that Kenlock ended up dallying away from, because there were times when Doncaster would go on attack. I think it was John Taylor most of the time. And Kenlock, for some reason, would be in like a central position. You have to see Edwards keep coming down to the left back spot. That might have been part of the reasoning why for the change today. But at the end of the day, Ward's form this season has been really, really good. I think a lot of us, like when we signed him, were a bit concerned maybe of his age and the fact that he'd been injured prior at Stoke. So I think it's good that he can come in and give us that added leadership alongside Chambers.
The Chuckle brothers have been good at centre half.
Oh dear, oh dear.
To
oh
me.
dear, oh dear. Let's have some comments because I've neglected that to start the show because of the teething issues with the software. Benjamin Michael, welcome in, Benjamin, on Facebook. Happy with the lineup. We actually have a recognised striker on the pitch. Well, until he gets injured in the 43rd minute. Come on, you Blues. Nick Muller. Hi all. Chambers to score along with Sears. Rabbitman 39. Hi guys. 3 beers for the town today. Pints and points is what we want. Pints and points. Nate King feeling 3 points today. Louis Sharp. Jack's back at last. Yes. And Dave. The two centre-backs play better than Chambers and Ward beside them, which is a very fairly accurate statement to make that. And I think Luke's made a very good point there in terms of what Ward can bring to that back line in terms of helping, as Jordan put it, the Chuckle brothers, who he also just adds, Wilson must think he's won the lottery. Rich, we expected changes. Obviously, it's really pleasing to have Ward back. And I'm not saying it's not. I just felt that the Kenlock switch out of the back four was harsh. Are you surprised to see Holy retain his place in goal?
Look, we want consistency from the manager, because last season it was Norris was in, Holy was in, and like I said, I think in a tweet in the week, Martin, don't throw the bathwater out with the baby. It is one poor performance. If Holy has another bad game today, you'd expect him to be replaced with the centre backs. If one of them had a bad game, but I don't think you don't want to wreck somebody's confidence by just binning them after one poor performance. And he was poor the other night. Look, I think a lot of the problems the other night stemmed from him because when he has the ball at his feet, he doesn't look comfortable, does he? And if you want to play the way that Paul Lambert wants to play, is Thomas Holy your man?
Well, no, and that's why I think Norris was brought in last season as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree, but I just think it would be a little bit harsh if someone is dropped after one poor performance. If they had a couple back-to-back, I'd expect them, if Holy has a poor game today or if Wilson or if Enciala has a poor performance, I'd expect them to be replaced on Tuesday. But let's hope that he doesn't have another poor performance. We don't want to sit here and hope. But I think Cornell, he's warming his gloves, isn't he, really? Because I think as soon as Holy has one more poor performance, he's going to be out. Because he got away with that in the first half on Tuesday when he passed it straight out and Toto got him out of jail. And he can't have any more of that. I don't like all this tapping around at the back, and it's not just an Ipswich problem. I think it's football in general now. All of them want to be like Barcelona and Man City and play up from the goal line. When, yeah, fair enough, if you've got the players who can do it, but if you haven't got the players to do it, you play it simple. And we did the other night, and we played ourselves into trouble, didn't we?
We do, and it's a balance, though, isn't it, Rich? You've got to be balanced in your approach, and you've got to know when to. And that goal we're talking about with Holy, that's again like Tottenham in the pre-season, Luke. That's a time when you've got to know, I can't play out here. I can't play a player into trouble. I've got to put my laces through it.
Yeah, I think that's happened a lot recently. Especially throughout pre-season, we think of the Spurs game where Cornell made a similar error. Obviously, the calibre of opposition is way higher. I did notice the last couple of games when we've had Ward out at the side, whenever Holy pings a ball towards Chambers, most of the time he actually does win the ball, Chambers. But whenever he whips the ball towards Kenlock, I don't know what it is, he struggles to deal with the ball being knocked towards him from height. I think that might have been part of the reason why he was going short, but still, I think it was it the fourth goal where he tried to pass to Dazelle. Dazelle tried to pass to Enciala. He went then back to Holy, and that's where the goal happened. I can't agree really. Like if he was dropped after this game, after Doncaster's performance, which obviously wasn't good on his part, and then Cornell came in and then he made a similar mistake, people would be questioning the decisions that they were making. I think that happened a lot last season with Norris, because I think I was at the Lincoln away game where he made an error, he come out and got chipped, and then Wickham, he got chipped as well, and then I think he was finally dropped after the game after that. So I think, if it's another bad performance today, he's more than, as you said, I've given you Encialo and him the benefit of the doubt to play this game, and if they play well, they're going to stay on the side, and if they don't, they're going to be dropped. It's a matter of time. But I'd rather them, rather than just making one bad performance and being dropped, because then the person that comes in, he might make a bad performance and be dropped. So the fact that he or whoever who plays a bad game, if it's a consistent bad game, so say 2, because I wouldn't risk playing 3 bad games and being dropped because it could be detrimental. But I'd rather that than.
That's all we ask for, Luke, is it? It's the manager to be consistent with his selection.
And I think Hox makes a great point here, Jordan. Fine line between playing style and just being stupid. And I raised the Holy question because I'm in a position as a fan where I've not ever heard a committed answer from the management in terms of Thomas Holy is my number one, a la Richard Wright and say Lee Bracey. Richard Wright, Thomas Holy is my number one. This guy's coming in to sit on the bench, and if we need him, come in. So I'm still in the world of you bring a goalie in as a number one. You don't go and get a number 2 unless you explicitly state it's a number 2.
You're creating problems, aren't you, really?
Well, this is it.
Or questions to be asked. If one of your goalies had a bad game, and then is the other one going to come in? Look, I said before, Prizebeck, I thought he would have been an adequate, or Harry Wright, number 2. They could sit on the bench. But we've said before, I don't think the manager really believes that Holy's his number 1, because otherwise he wouldn't bring another goalie in.
Which is why...
Because that's the thing. When he was actually brought in, he was brought in as a project. So I think the plan was to have him as a number 2 to Bart when Gherkin went to Colchester. But obviously then the whole Bart situation with him going to Millwall, failed medical and the loan and whatever, that happened. And then we had Holy, hence why they brought in Norris. From what I found out, where Norris was meant to be the number 1 and Holy was the number 2. Also, with you guys mentioning this, I think it does come down away to recruitment in a way, because if you think of it, Lambert saying it himself, he clearly wants to play that kind of way, the playing out from the back, the nice, short passes and, building up from the defence. But if the goalkeeper that you're recruiting can't do it, then why not recruit someone in your team who's more adept to do that in the first place?
And that's what they have done, and this is why I think the constant flip-flopping. And I think in a way, you talk about players winning the lottery, again, you have to maybe think, has the goalie won the lottery? Because he's had a good run of games against...
Adequate. Adequate.
The same as last season. And it makes the rod for the manager's back, doesn't it? How do I drop him? Because he's, we've not conceded a goal for the last...
It makes his stats look amazing, doesn't it? When you think, look at all them clean sheets he's kept. But hang on.
Yeah.
He's not really...
You know me and Holy.
Because that's the thing. I don't think he's actually made many saves during them run of games. I know the game before Doncaster, he actually got in the League One team of the week. But if you look at all the teams that we played, there were teams that are finished in the lower echelons of the table. Only when we play a team like Doncaster, who are going to be up there in the top half of the table, that we come undone.
Yeah, well, that's why I raised the point. I just thought it's something worth. And until we hear a definite, he's our number 1, I think it's every game where you concede a goal, and it's marginal upon is it his fault or not his fault. You're going to have the question asked by fans, and we are a fan show, so we'll ask the question that we would ask in the pub to each other. Moving into midfield, Nolan, Bishop, and Andre. Talk to me about. So someone make me feel better about this midfield, because right now I'm thinking, Andre aside, it's a bit powder puff.
Yeah, if you get in their faces, if you were Lincoln's manager, he's going to say, look, they're weak in midfield. You're missing a shithouse.
As Graham Tate said. Graham Tate said, big ball winner. We're light in midfield. That's
spot on. We're a nice football team. We play nice, pretty patterns of football and pass it around nicely, but especially away from home. I'm not so concerned when we play at home, because I think we can take it out. But when you're playing away from home and you have to really dig in, have we got enough? When the pressure's on, it's all right, everyone passing it about. But when you've got to make a tackle, do the dirty stuff, have we really... Well, look, we miss Flynn Downs. We know we've not got him. But would you say... I know we don't like mentioning his name, but if Scouse was fit, would he be playing? I know Matt has the opinion that he would. Callie, there you go.
Callie thinks we're missing Skews. I don't think we're missing Skews, because I wouldn't put him in the category of what you just described there. I'm going to try and keep it PG, because I know your sons watch. So I'll try and keep it as best I can. But I don't think we're missing that nasty Paul Dickoff type of character. You know, the player who's going to get under the skin of an opposition, Luke. A player who's going to do the dirty, the grunt work. Look, John Nolan. I'm not his biggest fan, but he'll recycle possession. He won't lose the ball that often. But he won't equally go in hard on their number 10 in the first 5 minutes and let him know you're in for a battle today, will he?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, whenever I've watched us play, I'm confident when we're winning the game because, you know, I'm confident in the players we have on the pitch to, you know, add another goal or that sort of thing. I said the other day, I think before the Doncaster game, I'm more concerned when we go behind the game because I think we hadn't have gone behind the game this season. And I think that is the point, especially away from home against teams like Doncaster and Lincoln, those kind of sides. It's all right having people like Dazelle who can spray nice passes and people like Bishop who can dribble at the midfielders in defence and that's so on and so forth. But you really do need that kind of Flynn Downs type because if you're behind in a game and you need to get in it, you need to cement yourself in the midfield part. I think when we played Doncaster, they had Madga Gomez and Ben Whiteman and those kind of players in there that are, you know, they're strong, but they also like to get out of the pitch. I think so many years I always worry about our midfield because I always see this term banders around like of us being lightweight. A lot of the players are built in this kind of lean way, and other than Downs who likes to stick himself in a challenge and maybe Hughes not so much as he probably wants to, you don't really have that kind of player in addition to Downs because, you know, you've got Scouse who offers experience and kind of like cutting out passing lanes and that sort of thing. But there's not really another player like Downs that we can really put into the midfield. I think I still think that's where we lack in midfield. We might have mass numbers, you know, we've got a lot of central midfielders, but we don't necessarily have that kind of perfect mix, I still think.
Is that not just football in general now, guys, though? Because you don't really see these players who go around getting their foot in and getting stuck in because look, you're not allowed to tackle, are you? Basically, it's a non-contact sport now. You can't have someone, first 5 minutes, go through someone, centre of the pitch, put one on, you have a warning there. It's going to be a yellow card. So you see all these nice teams, you'd say now, from the Premier League down.
There's no Emmanuel Petites anymore, is there?
No, there's not.
You know, who allow the Vieiras to go and be a Vieira because Petit was such a good player in doing that. And Luke, obviously, you know, you're a recruitment specialist. Dave asks, could a McGuinness or a Wolfie, but I'm interested particularly in McGuinness here, do a job that we're describing here in midfield? Has he done that before for Arsenal? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of, but that is a specific trait when I do think of McGuinness. You know, when you hear him speak, I think it's a strange loan deal in a way because you've got Wilson and Enciala who have been playing, you know, all the games this season. Obviously, you got Chambers playing right back due to KVY's injury, and obviously, I only really see Wolford probably coming into part of the Enciala. But yeah, other than that, I don't really see a place for McGuinness in the centre back spot. But yeah, as the comment says about him playing alongside Dazelle in the midfield three, I think, you know, he does have the qualities. I mean, he might not be the quickest player from what I've seen, but it's the tackling, it's the dribbling. You know, when I saw him play against us in the Leeston Trophy, whatever you want to call it, he seemed very short on the ball. And, you know, obviously playing in centre-back to playing in central midfield is a completely different ball game because you have or less time on the ball than you normally would in centre-back. But I think he has the necessary attributes to be able to play in that kind of more like holding role position. I think that is something that would suit his game. I'm not sure if he's done it specifically throughout his career, but I think, you know, if it comes to the point where we feel like we need that kind of player and we're not really going to go into the market to buy someone, you know, some people might question square pegs round holes, but I think he's the kind of player that could cement himself there. You know, we think of it in a way when we had Chalobah. Chelsea saw him as a centre-back, we played him centre-mid, and he was that kind of guy that he played kind of similar role where he tackled the ball.
Average player.
I thought he grew. I thought he grew as the season got better. Look, Rich, tell me what they can do. Tell me what that midfield can do to hurt Lincoln. Let's be positive for a minute.
Just getting back to McGuinness quickly. If I was Arsenal, I'd be fuming. You've loaned him out.
Yeah,
I would.
He's been here six weeks. He hasn't got a minute on the pitch, and I don't see where he's going to come in unless. Are you going to change both?
FA Cup game coming up, probably.
Yep, But the thing is, in January, he'll probably go back. If he's not playing, it's like when we say about Dobra or one of our players going out on loan. You need to get the right club. It's no good them going out and sitting on the bench.
Yeah, but this is what I mean with and Luke says it all the time in terms of recruitment and a plan and is it a plan or is it a sporadic look at a list and picking out a player or two who I don't know, and that's something for the podcast on a Sunday to discuss. But I want some positivity because sometimes we're critical. Well, a lot of times we're critical, but sometimes we're criticised for not being positive enough. So give me some positivity about that midfield three before we move on to our darling boy Jack Lancaster. But talk to me about those from midfield three. What do you want? What do you expect? What can they do?
They've got to get on the ball. Look, Dazelle the other night, I thought he was really poor. His passing was a bit off key. He had one in the first half. He just knocked it straight out for a throw in. He's got to take the game by the ball by the horns, really, and really dominate the game. He's played well so far, and he's obviously playing each week, and he knows he's going to be in the team. Really, realistically, Andre's going to be playing every week. You've got Emir Hughes at the minute. He's not doing it for me. I don't know about you two. I think he's nowhere near the player he used to be. So going forward, you'd expect it would be this three to play in the majority of the games because Skuse is not fit. You've got Brett McGavin. Obviously, he's a young player. But Teddy Bishop, he played well at Blackpool, but all too often this season, he's on the periphery of games. He's a bit in and out, and he'll do a good bit of skill. He needs to do more. John Nolan, I think there's a player there. I know you don't rate him. I think he can get a goal, but he's another player. The other night, he was anonymous. He disappeared. And your midfield today can't go doing the same. It's got to stand up and be counted. And today, the whole team, they must know, certain players in that team must be thinking, one more poor performance from me, I'm going to be sitting on the bench.
Well, they should do. And JT's nailed it. Dynamic and can be exciting. They really can be. JT, there's my midfield positivity for the day. Big shout out to Stephen Lancaster, fan of the show, friend of the show. We much respect for him. His boy starts today. Finally, I was sitting eating me fry up earlier, right? And I was thinking to myself, what has Jack Lancaster got to do to play? Because he really should be now coming into teams, especially after a 4-1 defeat. And Paul Lambert must have picked up on that other Lambert sort of mental vibe and put him in the team because he is.
Did he have some black pudding as well, do you think?
Oh, Lambert's love black pudding. So, Jack Lancaster starts, finally, on the right. Edwards on the left. What can Jack Lancaster bring to this team? I'm so excited to hear his name and see him play today. I really am.
It's a strange one, really, because he's had no minutes and Keenan Bennett's has come on. And I think if you were thinking the team today, I thought Bennett's might start. And from what I'd seen before, look, I'm not unhappy that Jack's starting because I think I said at the start of the season he should be in that front three. I think he's an exciting player. He can go at players. He can take them on. He can score goals. And obviously, look, he's had 2 really bad back injuries, so we don't want to go getting too carried away with him.
Yeah,
I know we build him up. Look, he's a fantastic talent, but I think we need to be patient with him. If he plays an hour, 65 minutes a day, and he plays well, and then Bennett comes on, fair enough. But I think going forward, the more he plays, the fitter he's going to get, the stronger he's going to get, and you'd hopefully the better. And he's got to keep playing and learning. He's still learning because he's still a young kid, but I think he's got it all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scored a goal today.
I was with you in terms of I thought Bennett would start, but that was aggravating me. Not because Bennett isn't a good player, but because we own, if you like, for a better word, Jack Lancaster. Whereas Bennett could come in, do a Tom Lawrence, and then not be in next year. Whereas Jack Lancaster, if you're going to do it, at least you're going to obviously get a huge fee for the lad. It gives him game time. Where's Judge gone? Because
he's injured.
He's injured, right?
Yeah, they said
why
he had
isn't Dobra? So why isn't Dobra coming into this 18? Because I don't want to see a bench of McGuinness and Wolfenden and Kenlock. That's 3 defenders.
Has it done him any good by refusing to go out on loan? What do you think?
Probably not. I can imagine old school managers wouldn't like it.
Got his back up.
Maybe slightly, but come on, guys. McGuinness, Wolfenden, and Kenlock. Kenlock can't play anything but left back. McGuinness and Wolfenden really can't play anything but centrally.
You only need 2, don't you, on there?
It's either is this where the loan deal hurts us again? Because you're gonna have to put him on the bench because it's an easier conversation to have with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal than it is to say he wasn't in the 18.
I think silence said everything there. I agree. Dobra should be on that bench. He should be on that bench. He's not. It is what it is. I'm not particularly happy that he's not on there because I've banged his drum, but I think it might go against him that he's not gone out on loan. I hope it wouldn't go against him, but I think it might. I think Paul Lambert, like you say, a bit old school, and he's thinking, right, might teach you a bit of a lesson.
Right, bold prediction time because the teams are now coming out. So give me your bold predictions for a score, guys, in the chat, and we'll start with Luke. Luke, very quickly, score prediction. Let's go. Bold. Be bold.
So yeah, even though we haven't won in the league at the Sinsel Stadium, I'm going for a 2-1 win. I think today's going to be the first game that we see Hawkins' first goal, along with Lancaster. I'm going for Scully to score off the bench for Lincoln.
Rich?
I said 2-1 in the predictions yesterday. I'll stick to it. I will go Edwards and Lancaster to score.
Okay.
Might go 1-0 down. Might be 1-0 down. I think we might show a bit and come back and win 2-1.
My bold prediction is 3-0 with the Lancaster, Hawkins and Edwards goals. My realistic prediction is just give me a 1-0 away win. Dirty, gritty. 93rd minute, Chambers bundle it over the line, and we can all
bounce
celebrate
back ability.
Time. Absolutely. We'll see you at half time. With love, with care. See you in a bit.
Come on, you Blues.
Come on, you.
Come on.